My name is Aaron. I'm originally from the Bay Area, California, but I moved up here to Linwood, Washington, which is like 20 miles north of Seattle, about 5 years ago, and I just love it up here. You know, we have all the 4 seasons, and it's just such an expanding community and a lot of things here. So I started getting into reptiles and plants and things like 2-3 years ago.
Yep.
And just gone crazy. So I have my own reptile room and amphibians, and I breed frogs and things like that.
I even have a fish, brackish
video with
brackish
you. Video
it,
with
so,
you.
yeah.
If you haven't seen that, check it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's since been gone and kind of moved more towards
frogs.
Frogs.
Lots of frogs.
Frogs, lizards.
He got me into frogs.
Yeah.
Blame him.
So first off is one of my favorite Syngoniums here, which is a Raphodophora, also known as Yanocardi Road, which is named after a particular road.
Why do you like this one so much?
I'm really into dark plants, so I love like black and really dark green, and then the purples and things like that. If you notice, kind of my style is like skulls and
well,
more of the goth
pictures.
things. So, but yeah, I really love dark plants, and then these just grow super well. I have one in like an 8-inch pot that's like trailing. It's like 2 feet long. But yeah, they're just really kind of underrated. They got really popular, but now they're kind of back down. I mean, it's about $40, which is a pretty good price for them. And they're also climbers too, so if you want to put them on a pole, they'll get larger leaves and things like that. So you can see where they're kind of starting to trail here and the leaves got smaller. But once you put them onto a moss pole or something to grow up, they'll get much bigger again.
What about propagation?
Propagation's easy. You just cut them like right there, and then they got the roots and the nodes. Just stick them right into moss, and they'll grow really quickly. Really easy to root. So it's good for a lot of beginners. Let's see a second. Let's go with the Billy. I really like the leaf shape. I'm more into like long and narrow leaves.
Yeah, I noticed that.
So most of them are probably gonna be like that. But the Billy is really awesome. I mean, obviously there's the variegated Billy, which is like $14,000, but you can get, you know, the regular Billy for about $250 to $300.
Yep.
And what's nice about these is that they'll grow like outwards and just turn into like a satellite looking thing. So you just have the stem in the middle and all the leaves going around in a circle.
All right.
Would be really cool in like a kokodama or something like that. If you have the space.
Anything just looks good in a kokodama.
Oh yeah, give it some space around. This is a Philodendron Pluto or caramel green. The actual Philodendron caramel marble is my absolute favorite plant.
Yeah, but it costs $1 billion.
Yeah, it's about $3, $4, $5 grand depending on size, you know. But this is the same leaf shape, which is again long and narrow. Then it has the little jagged edges. I just love them. They just got these in yesterday or 2 days ago.
This could probably be mistaken for the serratums, the like jungle boogie or something, but
Yeah.
these are definitely thicker.
Jungle Boogie, narrow, or it's got a bunch of names. But yeah, this is a little bit shorter, more wider, and then it's got a little more jagged edges.
What about care for these?
It's just like with any philodendron, you know, it's really easy to care for. You know, just moderate. You can keep them in air. You don't have to keep them in a cabinet. Obviously, when they're so big, it's not going to fit in a cabinet or anything like that. But
okay, these are still on the cart, so they just got them in.
So this is my favorite Anthurium. You know, obviously, again, dark, long, and narrow.
Yeah.
There's a couple different forms. These are more the narrow and dark form, which is the most popular. You can see how dark and then the veinies are. These tend to like more high humidity. They do really well in cabinets or vivariums or terrarium type environment. What's really cool about these is that they start out small like this, and then after about 2 weeks, they grow really, really large leaves like this. So this leaf will eventually be that large in a couple weeks.
That is so crazy how that works, right?
Amazing.
If humans grew like that.
So then they're in more of a chunky mix here. You can see all the roots.
Yeah.
Oh, let's go with this one. It's really the first time I've seen one this large like this, so let's kind of feature this. I mean, it's hard to find them fenestrated like that with the scales and the veins going through. It kind of looks like a reptile.
I ask you to pronounce the name because we both don't know it.
Anthurium.
Yeah, that sounds right. Just say
Spider-Man
confidence
too.
and it's correct.
Yeah, exactly. So, but it's got like that kind of crocodile-looking veins going through it, and then nice little holes and fenestrated going.
What's the price tag on this bad boy?
This one is $400, but they do have smaller ones for much less. I mean, it's a great deal. It's just so big and full. When I first started out, I started out with 2 plants, and this was one of the first ones. It's a Raphodophora tetrasperma, And there's actually two different forms. There's the tissue culture form where the leaves are more long and narrow, and then there's the non-tissue culture where they're more round shaped and like kind of like a heart. But
You have to send me a picture of yours.
oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, within a few months I had mine up to 10 feet tall.
Wow.
So
Well, you do make some ginormous moss poles there.
yeah. So I used a tree stake actually on that. I think it was like 7.5 feet tall, and it hit my ceiling within a few months. Very, very easy to grow, very, very fast grower. Yeah, a lot of people actually make them or put them on trellises, and then once you just cut them, you'll see they're vining and climbers. So once you cut this one, they'll grow a new one out like this one right here, and it'll just branch off and be like 2 or 3 or whatever, and you can just have a whole wall of it. One of the first plants when I started during the pandemic and things like that was a Raven ZZ that came in through Costa Farms. Obviously this is a larger one than what things normally come in, but what's really cool about these is that it's just black. Like the older and more mature leaves are just black. And when they start out bright lime green like this, and then they eventually turn. Very, very easy plant to care for. I maybe water mine like every 2-3 months.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
it's one of my most neglected plants. You know, it doesn't require any highlight or anything like that. So this one
Honestly,
just,
with the black, the chlorophyll is probably very low.
yes. So they got a new one right here. It's just, look how tall that is compared to the others.
Yeah.
So my absolute first plant that I started with was one of my favorite. I have multiple of them. I've had, 10, 15, 20 different pots because I just can't seem to get enough and keep buying them. But this is the Cebu. Normally they're produced from Costa Farms, which you can get in your local, Lowe's or Home Depot or anything like that. But they get them here as well, which are really long and trailing. Normally they don't come in this long.
Yeah, look at how trailing they're all the way at the bottom here.
What's cool is when the light hits them, they have that sheen to it's kind of like a bluish green. And as they get a lot older, the leaves get really, really huge and fenestrated once they start climbing, and they'll get more and more blue and light color.
Yeah, I love it because it looks like a serrated knife almost.
Oh, yeah.
All right, thank you, Aaron, for
Cool.
showing us your top 5 favorite plants.
Absolutely.
And then your 2 runner-ups. I appreciate it. You'll probably be in a video some other time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Thanks,
See ya.
Aaron.